Alabama got off to a quick start, tied in a 66-55 loss to Kentucky. What began as a deafening roar in Coleman Coliseum ended with groans and early exits from a packed house of more than 12,000. Alabama opened a 9-1 lead Saturday night over 5th-ranked Kentucky but could not sustain its momentum, missing shots and opportunities in a 66-55 loss that saw the Tide finish with its worst field goal percentage in 11 years. More in Alabama sports. Live updates. Alabama hosts number 5 Kentucky. What is the future of Coleman Coliseum if Alabama builds new arena? Nate Oats. Alabama's new arena looks like sec's best. Alabama made only 18 of its 64 attempts, a 28.1% clip that was the school's lowest since it shot 26.2% against Auburn in February 2011. The Tide converted only 3 of its 30 attempts from three-point range, a 10% rate that was the worst under Oats and tied for the second worst in Division I this season for teams with at least 30 attempts. It's gonna be hard to beat anybody shooting 28% from the field, let alone Kentucky, Coach Nate Oats said after the loss, which was Alabama's third in its past 4 games. I thought we had some good looks. I was disappointed. Alabama entered Saturday's game ranked 290th in Division I in shooting 31.4% on three-pointers and dropped a full percentage point to 30.4 after the loss, likely falling below 300th among the nation's 358 teams pending the day's other results. Alabama led through the first 10-plus minutes of the game but Kentucky pulled ahead and took a 6-point lead into halftime. The Tide's 8 of 34 shooting in the second half, including 1 of 16 from three-point range, doomed any chance of threatening Kentucky's lead. Our offense really failed us tonight, Oates said. We got to regroup, shoot the ball a little bit better, make sure we're getting good shots. The Tide missed a string of 15 consecutive three-pointers from the 5-minute mark of the first half until J.D. Davison connected on one with 2:40 remaining in the game. That ended a 1 of 17 stretch on field goals, with Alabama not taking advantage of what had been only a 4-point deficit with 15 minutes left to play. Davison's late make, Alabama's third and final of the game, did little damage to a Kentucky lead that had swelled to 17 points. Starting guards Jaden Shackelford, Jarvin Quinley and Kean Ellis went a combined 2 of 17 from long range, with Ellis owning the only 2 makes among that group. Freshman guard J.D. Davison went 1 of 3 in 26 minutes off the bench. They got to play well for us. If they don't play well, we can't win, Oates said of Alabama's guards. We got to have them score the ball. I think they need to get in the gym a little bit, get some shots. Shaq looked like he was tired tonight. Has got to get his legs back up under him. For different guys, it's gonna be different stuff. Some guys are gonna have to get their legs under them. Some guys are gonna have to get in the gym and shoot a little bit more. Best way to get your confidence up is to see the ball go up a bunch of times. A dreadful shooting night also saw Alabama make only 9 of its 24 layup attempts as tracked by the game's official statistics. We got the ball to the rim a fair amount, Oates said. The issue is, we missed those too. The offensive woes overshadowed what should have been an adequate defensive performance and a rebounding advantage, 47-44, over the sec's best rebounding team in Kentucky. Alabama is only the 4th team this season to have a positive rebounding differential against the Wildcats, which boasted the nation's leading rebounder in 6'9" forward Oscar Tshiebwe, who hit his season average of 15 boards. He'll give some of our guys some credit. I thought some of them battled, and Oates said. I thought Charles was really good tonight. Battled. Thought he played the best out of anyone on our team. I thought he did a great job with Tshiebwe. I mean, Tshiebwe a monster, ends up with 15 rebounds and 10 points. But I thought he had a hard time scoring off Charles. Bediako, the Tide's 7-foot freshman center, matched his season high with 12 points as the only Alabama player in double digits in addition to a team-high 8 rebounds. Charles played well, Oates said. Charles came ready to play. Outside of Bediako's 4-4-4 shooting, the remainder of Alabama shot 23% from the field, including 2-4-11 from Shackelford and Quinley each, 2-4-8 from Ellis, 3-4-10 from Davison, 1-4-6 from Noah Gurley, 2-4-7 from James Rojas and 2-of-6 from Juwan Gary. Alabama made only 16 of its 24 free throws and matched Kentucky with 15 turnovers. Way too many, Oates said of the turnovers. Some of them were careless, guys not being locked in. It was a little frustrating. Alabama's 55 points were the second fewest under Oates, more than only 50 in a March 2020 loss at Missouri. The 66 points allowed by the Tide were the 5th fewest the school has given up in a game this season and the fewest in a loss. I thought some of the missed shots affected our effort on the defensive end as the game wore on, Oates said. I thought we played pretty hard on defense for the most part, but we can't let making or missing shots affect how hard you play on the other end. Then I think you start to think about, if you just lose yourself in the game, you miss some shots, you miss some shots. It's the game of basketball. It happens. When you start overthinking all your missed shots because you're overly concerned with that, it affects your effort on defense. Then you start to go into a little bit of a tailspin. Then I think you overthink your offensive stuff, and it turned into one of those nights. We've got to be a little bit more mentally tough to be able to handle a bad shooting night, still play hard. We've won big games this year when we didn't shoot it well. Some of our bad losses, we did shoot it well. I thought our defense was better overall than it had been in some of our losses, which is a good thing. Otherwise we would have gotten blown out. The 10% rate on three-pointers was the second worst of Oats' 7 seasons as a college head coach, better than only the 7.7% his Buffalo team shot when it went 1 of 13 in a loss to St. Bonaventure in 2015. North Dakota's 3 of 31 showing in a November loss to Kansas State is the only worst percentage on at least 30 attempts in Division I this season. For Alabama, it was the program's worst three-point percentage on any number of attempts since it converted 1 of 15 in a January 2019 loss to Mississippi State under former coach Avery Johnson. But Oats, who has used analytics to back up his team's three-point heavy approach, does not believe it is time for a change in philosophy. Not sure that throwing it to Charles on Tshiebwe would have been a good option for us offensively, he said. We've recruited a roster that's going to play the way we play. We got to finish shots at the rim. All of a sudden you can't re-recruit a roster to start posting the ball up. And to be honest with you, if you look at post-up points per possession in college basketball, those aren't very high either. Alabama fell to 16th in the country in KenPom's offensive efficiency metric after spending most of the season in the top 10. Its defense rose to 62nd, but the difference from last year's top 3 finish has been often cited by Oats as the bigger area of concern this season. I thought was good early, Oats said of Saturday's game. I thought our shot making affected it as the game went on. I didn't think we played as hard as we needed to for the entire 40. I really was disappointed in some of our guys' effort as the game continued to go on, as they missed shots. If you're going to let shot making on offense dictate effort on defense, it's losing basketball, and it definitely contributed to our win tonight. That came after Oats believed his team was ready to step up for its third consecutive game against a top 5 opponent, which was the first such stretch in college basketball since Rutgers faced number 1 North Carolina, number 3 Pittsburgh and number 2 UConn in 2008-2009. Alabama previously beat number 4 Baylor and lost at number 1 Auburn. I thought Thursday our practice was great, he said. If we had played with the same energy today that we did Thursday in practice, probably could have won the game. I don't have an answer for why we played as well as we did in practice and shot it as well as we did. Then the game time comes and we don't. I'm not sure on that. Alabama next plays Wednesday night at Ole Miss. I thought we played Kentucky fairly tough for a stretch there. Played Auburn tough for 30 minutes, whatever it was, on the road, Oates said. We're there. We got to make some shots. That's the bottom line. We got to make some shots. We can't let our shot making dictate our effort on the defensive end, even when we don't make some shots. We have shot poorly this year and still won. Sophomore forward Darius Miles, who returned from a knee sprain to play in the Auburn game earlier this week, was suspended for Saturday's game because of an unspecified team rules violation. Based on our conversations, moving forward, how he handles himself, we're planning on him being available on Wednesday, Oates said. But yeah, that's the plan. We'll see how the conversations with him go moving forward. Mike Rodick is an Alabama beat reporter for Alabama Media Group. Follow him on Twitter at Mike Rodak.